the reason I want to talk about quote unquote COVID fatigue or quarantine fatigue or pandemic, whatever they call it, right? Like everyone is feeling fatigued to some flavor.
Mhm.
And I was saying that my students submit these journals, and sometimes they're really in depth, sometimes they aren't. And I've had students talk about all kinds of stuff. I've had students tell me about fights they have with their partner. One student, in their journal this week was like, "Listen, my boyfriend is Asian Pacific Island descent, and was like I wasn't with him, but he was apparently like out and about and got flipped off and called a bunch of racist slurs." And she was like, honestly, I never know what to do when he tells me these things. Like I wasn't there, so like obviously I couldn't do anything in the moment. But even after the fact, I don't know what to say. And I'm like, oh shit, like, good thing we're covering race and ethnicity for the next 2 weeks, and I get to get into how to approach these topics. I had a student literally, basically for her journal entry, live broadcast in word form her finishing of the social dilemma, because we started it in class, and she basically just like typed as she finished the documentary. And at the end she's like, okay, I'm gonna go call my mom now and apologize for every time she asked me to do something and I was on my phone. And it ended, and I was like, oh shit. And I got a student who's been struggling with isolation
Mhm.
because of the quarantine rules on campus, and they recently got a fish, and then the fish had to then be quarantined because it got fin rot. And so she like was like really upset because she's like, I got this fish to keep me company because I can't hang out with anyone, and now my fish is sick and I have to quarantine and hope it like doesn't die on me. And I like, my spouse and I were like cry laughing because I'm like, this is depressing. It's funny,
Terrible.
but it's depressing. And like these are the lengths that these kids are going to like survive this. And adults are no different.
Mhm.
Like we're also doing things to cope and make this time period manageable. And for a lot of people, I think they're getting to a sort of breaking point.
Yeah,
Um, for
for
better or
sure.
for worse, for a lot of people that I've been observing on my social media, for worse, because they're basically just going back to living pseudo normal lives, which is very dangerous. Um, because their fatigue and their mindset is like, I am fatigued with this virus lifestyle
Yeah.
and I
What a
want to live a
luxury.
normal lifestyle. I agree, right? And
What a
and
luxury that
and
that's what exhausts you.
let me be very, very, very blunt for a moment here. That is exclusively my non-academic friends, by which I mean anyone who doesn't work in academia has
Mhm.
that mindset. If you work in a school, never mind my friends who work in the healthcare field. If you work in a school, you have no time for that thought. It is not possible,
Mhm.
because we see the reality of trying to make our institutions function every day. Right, my entire campus. I haven't gone there since the spring. My entire campus is on full lockdown, so they can make it to Thanksgiving. Every student has to pass a negative exit test, or they can't leave the campus because the school doesn't want them going home and infecting their families. So when I see people like saying like, "Oh, I'm so sick of this pandemic. I want to go out and do shit," I look at my kids and I'm like, they can't even go home. Some of them,
Listen here, Rebecca. Brunch can wait. Like
like
brunch is not gonna
they can't go
die.
home. You know, Lo
Mhm.
and I are doing a future Garcia family Thanksgiving, just the two of us. We can't go see her parents. We can't go see my parents because they had it. And so, we're like, well, I'm gonna throw it down in the kitchen. I'm gonna put on my apron, which I love. It's very sexy, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna make it work. It's gonna be a little sad because we're not gonna get to hang out with our families. We're not gonna get to do any of the fun stuff. Usually, we pair Hanukkah with Thanksgiving, and I know that me being a homebody, I feel it, the fatigue, but I feel it less than most people,
Same.
and I know this because this is my element.
Mhm.
Like if I were alone without her, it would be way worse. I'd be struggling a lot more. Like I probably would have moved in with you or you and me at some point and been like, this is like we're done. I can't be
Mhm.
fully by myself the whole time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure. For
Um,
sure.
but I know that it affects other people a lot more, and I worry about, because I got an email today from UConn about how they're trying to implement a lot more mental health counseling starting spring semester. They're like hiring a bunch of people. They again created a task force, as everyone is doing, because shit is on brand. Um, and I guess like I just don't understand what the appropriate response is to hearing about it, to seeing it, to feeling it, because you of all people, you know, we're similar in a lot of regards, and this is one of them. Where like we just don't feel it, I think, as much as other people do. Not that we don't feel it, we
Mhm.
know. Like there's a lot of shit I wish I could be doing right now. I'm still hypothetically planning a wedding for next year that may not happen the way that I want it to, and that's a reality that I'm slowly but surely like trying to figure out if I can accept and be like, well,
Right.
I may not be able to have everybody I want there.
Right.
That may just be a thing.
Mhm.
And so I don't know how to deal with other people's fatigue or really make sense of my own, because the only way I've realized that I'm experiencing it is I have lost a lot of patience for like human fallacy. Like,
Damn.
so it sounds awful, right? But really and truly, like I noticed the other day, I just don't have patience for things that I feel like are common sense, which is awful. Awful. Like it's not healthy for relationships, but like I have a short fuse for things where people say stuff and I'm like, why are you even saying that?
Right.
Why are you asking that? Why is that a thing that is coming out of your mouth?
Yep.
Which I know is a result of just like not interacting with humans as consistently
Mhm.
as I should be,
Yeah.
other than like via Xbox.
Mhm.
I don't know how to operate through it. I don't know if like I'm just like fully jaded from this like extra long introverted period, which I usually use like intermittently to recharge, right? Or if I'm just not like empathetic enough to other people's feelings. But I think I agree with your earlier statement, and then I'll let you say whatever you want to say about this. But I think I agree with your earlier statement of like what a privilege to like be fed up with what's going on. I don't feel
Yeah.
like I
Right.
have that privilege, and so like I can't empathize.
Yeah. This is so. I think you and I have a preternatural ability to be alone, not lonely, but alone. Loneliness kills us both.
Right. And
Right.
we've historically nipped that shit in the butt aggressively. Perhaps too
Right.
much. When loneliness hits, we're like, okay, it's time to nuke everything.
Yeah, we have assaulted several Earths. That's maybe a conversation for a different day. But so like I'm good alone. You know what I'm saying? Like if I have access to a modicum of creature comforts, um, and creature comforts really is like my PC and my Xbox,
Right. It's like the
and
PC,
books.
you know, food, booze. You're good to go.
Yeah, right. Like I really yeah, I'm fine. I can operate in this mode for a long time. What for me has brought the exhaustion is, well, one, like the atrophying of all the things that we would have, like we should have gone to DGD, not seen them on Zoom.
Yep.
We we should have all been at Matty Ice's birthday, as opposed to just me and Chris.
Yep.
You know, little things like that. Like the wedding should not be, there should be no question marks about the wedding, other than what the body count's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so like those things, you know, when you're talking about like being like 9 months into this motherfucker, whatever it is, 7 months. Um, no, God, it, yeah, right. It's not
We are 9 months in. We are almost a
right.
full year
9 months
through,
in.
I believe.
You know, like shit is a lot. That's a lot to reckon with and to wrestle with. Um, you know, and they're, I guess, you know, but it's moments like this that remind me of like where I'm at, and it's and where I'm at is not 146th Street. I can't cuss people out. I can't give everybody an eye jammy as much as like they might deserve it. And so when I hear people like, yeah, I miss, you know, pound cake French toast at the Malvern Buttery. Of course I do. But like I'm gonna hold off on that motherfucker because My neighbors need me to not be an asshole. And so I don't have patience for it. I don't have patience for it. I I wonder if some of the people, thankfully, like really only on the periphery of my life, would feel differently if they heard some of my kids who are up on dorm and they're dropping like flies because their families are like rates are spiking everywhere, and they're like, well, I'd rather have my kid be home than on campus where if they've got a quarantine. Ugh, excuse me, Jesus. If they've got a quarantine on campus, like just like UConn, like we don't want to be moving human beings who are going to then infect people along the way. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I would love to hear some a-hole who's mourning mimosas listen to one of my kids who's like, going through a breakup because COVID's terrible and they don't have like they're 16 and don't have like grown people communication skills just yet. Um, and all they want is a hug, and there's no one who can give one to them. That's it, a hug.
Yep.
And there's literally nobody who can give one to them. Who like that human need is so fundamental. It like gets at like our bare animality, and to not be able to satisfy that, to not be able to like give that kid a hug and be like, hey dude, it's okay, like breakups are shitty, but here's some of mine and what I've done to get through them. Like, to not be able to have that with these young people sucks, man. And so what happens is, when you're an educator in the time of COVID, you are your instructor, your therapist, you are confidant. You, in some cases, are, because like for me, like, in those moments where like my advisees are in their bag, like I can't hug them, right? I can't have them come up, like Luna would have, if Luna were in her bag, she'd come up and play Super Nintendo, right? Or the kids would come and they would binge watch a show on my couch. I cook for them. But even then, like it's just, like it's so taxing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so taxing. Not because I don't want to, but because I've got my own shit to deal with. And now I'm like part of both like my humanity and my job are calling me to do this. And so, I've like I wish some of those motherfuckers would be a teacher for a day. Be a teacher for a day. One single day in the time of COVID.
And you don't even have to just be a teacher, right? Like I think about what Lo went through at the beginning of this when like travel regulations started going into
Yeah.
place, and Khan had a bunch of students abroad,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden they're being told that they may not be able to fly home,
Right.
and all hell broke loose. All these students who were like, I'm about to be stranded in a foreign country, I
Right.
need to get back.
Yeah.
Right, we're losing their shit, and I'm like, you would not know that this is a reality that anyone has to deal with if you weren't in this space.
Mhm.
Right, like these like students in particular, educators, health professionals, right? Like health professionals more so by every modicum of
Oh yeah,
measurement,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like we
No,
can't
of course.
fathom that. Every time
Yeah.
I
I
read any
right.
excerpt from a health professional, I'm like, my job is not that serious. Like
Yeah, and I and I
the
say
shit that I'm dealing with sucks, but it's not that bad.
right, and I say teachers precisely because like like talking, trying to compare yourself to healthcare workers right now is like dividing by zero, right? Like they are the front line of the front line, right? I bring us up because us as educators, because we were lauded as the heroes of the fucking spring and then fed to the sausage machine in the fall.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, healthcare like that Emma was is cheerful and affable and just like lovely to be around for Maddie Ice's, like not that Emma's ever not those things, but it's like, yo, you're helping keep Philly safe. Like how are you not asleep right now?
Yep.
Um, hats off to them. Hats off to them.
But you're right. I mean, educators were lauded as like these invaluable,
Messiahs of
yeah, like
COVID.
these invaluable resources of like perseverance in the spring. We're like, yeah, we'll figure out how to teach right now, like in a week when our kids are gone for break. We'll make it work, sure. Um, and then come fall, they were like, all right, so you got this, right? Like, you're going to go back to work if you don't have an option, which not everybody did. I'm very thankful that I had the option to not have to go back.
Right.
Right. And that you're just going to make it work. And honestly, like, I feel guilty, which is the worst part. I feel guilty for not going back because I hear from a bunch of my students who are doing distance learning whose instructors have opted to change the times and like parameters of their courses. So they then conflict with other courses that those kids need for academic credentials. I got a kid who's now considering not applying to med school because they can't take the courses that they need because they conflict with other classes that aren't in person or are in person and are like it's a logistical nightmare. All because people are approaching this entirely differently. And so like sometimes I feel good because I'm like, oh shit, like maybe if I was doing my like I haven't changed my times. I still meet during when my class would be scheduled. None of that has changed.
Right.
Right. But I know people who are doing that who are saying like, well, if I'm teaching asynchronously, like I'm just gonna do it at this random time, or it's gonna be all of this shit that you have to do over the course of 5 days,
Mhm.
and it gets in the way of them doing other things.
Right.
And so it makes me feel bad sometimes where I'm like, can I be any more amenable to their needs to make this part of their learning, being the person who's giving them the writing credit, right, like a little easier so that the rest of the
Sure.
schedule doesn't suck so much.
Right.
But like I don't want to go to campus. I know how terrible it is on there. Like I don't want to be present in a classroom ever.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter how big the classroom they give me. I don't want to do it.
Mhm.
And so it's difficult to have people tell you you're like doing important good work, but then see that a lot of it is being squandered by the institution by not making everything,
Mhm.
with the student in mind. And then seeing other people that you know who are in various other industries. And I agree with you. It's mostly people that are on the periphery of my friendship. It's no one that I interact with on a regular basis. Because I think they know that I'd like tell them to their face like you're being an asshole. I see a bunch of these people who are just like in a bunch of these other businesses that don't have these requirements, responsibilities, or thoughts they need to be cognizant of, who are just like, I really want to go to this restaurant. I really want to do this celebration. I really want to do this thing. And I'm not going to let COVID get in the way. And again, I gotta quote you, like, what a fucking privilege. It
Yeah.
must be nice. It really must be nice. Right? Like, I
And
get apprehensive going to the grocery store.
yeah.
Not because I'm high risk or because my partner's high risk, but I know
Mhm.
that this is the thing that irks her anxiety the most. And so like it makes me, especially when I leave the house, hyper
Mhm.
vigilant about what I'm doing outside of the house. I'm thinking about
Yeah.
going grocery shopping for Thanksgiving and I'm like, I gotta go at the crack of fucking dawn when no one's there.
Mhm.
Right? I gotta be quick, efficient, not touch anything I'm not buying, and get in and out. Minimal contact, super fast. Right?
Right.
And I see people in there shopping, chatting, close proximity, no mask,
Kiki like
asking
shit
for
is
help.
regular. It's crazy.
And
Mm-mm.
like that for me is more exhausting than like whatever the pandemic has kept me from doing. I feel more fatigued watching other people not take it seriously, I think,
Yeah. Totally.
than like the
Yeah.
stuff I've lost as a result, right? Like I was devastated to not go to my nephew's first birthday.
Yeah.
It felt awful.
Yeah, dude.
Uh, you know, not being able to
And
take my
honestly,
partner out for her birthday. Like not being able to
right.
do any of the shit that like we didn't take a
Right.
vacation this year. Nothing.
Right. Right.
That shit sucks.
If
But
it
I'm just like, why? Why? Like
Mhm.
watching other people just do their like live their lives. I'm just like, can you not figure it out?
Yep. Yep. And and frankly, and this isn't to shit on any of our friends who have kids, but were it anybody but Emma, who's a healthcare worker, I would have been like, yeah, tell me what address you want me to mail the gifts to, you know. Um, and like the term gaslighting has taken on this like social justicey like warrior thing
Oh, we could do a whole
as of late.
episode on gaslighting.
And it oh my, it don't even get me started. I've gotten myself started, and let me just simmer down. Suffice it to say that it feels like I'm being gaslit by my county, because here, like, I've got the quarantine, and like Ace is part of the quarantine. I mean, we grew up together, so he's family. That goes without saying. But we're doing like a Friendsgiving, and we're like a little pod of people at work who that's the only group with whom we breach that boundary, with like a very clear understanding that like it's a risk. It's always a risk because people go to the grocery store, but that like when we make those choices, we're always keeping each other in that calculus of risk assessment. Um, and we're doing a Friendsgiving because I'm not traveling. I'm not leaving. And in fact, I'm going to be here with kids, with those kids who live too far away to travel for the break. Um, and shoot, I just lost my train of thought. Um,
Friendsgiving, cooking with kids, feeding them,
ugh,
being in your pod.
fuck. No, it was something you said. Um, God damn it, I can't remember. Oh yeah, I don't even go to the grocery store anymore. I don't go to the grocery store. I Instacart everything,
I go rarely.
and tip very generously.
Same.
Because of course, a calm 95% of my DoorDash and Instacart drivers are POC.
Mm-hmm.
And this is precisely why our COVID rates are so high. And so, like, this is shitty. It's exhausting. It's inundating. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. Like the whole like gaslighting piece. I had to go um to the post office to mail something for my passport, to mail like all that documentation. And so I'm like looking up my barbershop, and my barbershop is like one of my favorite places in town.
Mm-hmm.
I'm known by name. I know everybody there by name. Like it's just an amazing neighborhood establishment with great neighbors and great business people, and it's fantastic. A really really awesome shop. And I'm like looking things because I'm not like I'm all of my risks have to be calculated. Weighed against both the fact that I don't have a safety net of care, right? Should I get sick, and that it's not that the kids pose a risk to me. I pose the risk to the kids. And of course, I've got the quarantine I'm looking after. And my barbershop has these incredible like COVID measures. And so I've felt really comfortable going there. It's super, super safe. Um, and I mean, there is no like staying at home is safe. It's just the risk mitigating measures that they're taking are really robust. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just like watching these fucking kids, like these Westchester U undergrads, just walk around maskless. And so I'm like, this is fucking nutty.
Mm-hmm.
So I go outside and I realize like it's not just the kids. I can't pin this on the 20-year-old dumbass undergrads. It's everybody. I'm like watching grown folk putzing around maskless. And it's not just like folks who are eating or just ambulating around. And I'm just like, this is absolutely crazy. Like a calm 70% of the people I saw when I went to the post office were maskless. And it included everyone from like grandmas to that 18-year-old punk kid at Henderson High School. And I'm just like, this is absolutely mind-blowing, because here I am, like leaning into this, what for me feels like an act of like just good citizenship, right? Like I do this obviously, of course, for myself, but for my neighbors and my neighborhood and my community. And I walk out in this moment of risk taking every precaution while I ambulate about the community, and I'm watching my neighbors not give a single fuck. It's mind numbing. And it just like, it's bonkers.
It's funny that I've had
And
the exact same experience.
and it's
I literally
unsurprising, man.
went to the post office to mail my save the dates, and
Mm-hmm.
at the intersection of the main street and where the post office is my barber shop, and I haven't seen my barber since March.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go in, and my barber and I like we text. I don't make appointments through the app no more. I'm like, Kyrie, are you working? can I come in at this hour? He's like, yeah, dog, come in. And that's it. And
Sacred is the relationship between you and your barber.
early on, he's like, bro, I got a daughter. I'm not going back to the shop until it's safe. And I was like, I guess I'm buying clippers then.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta do a little snip. But but that's the thing. I went to the post office, and I had a lady that literally, like, they put tape marks on the floor in the post office to help people space out.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you,
Right.
please wear a mask inside the post office. And this lady's breathing down my neck the whole time. And I'm just like, excuse me, can you please back up to the tape mark on the floor so that we can maintain a 6-foot distance? She was
Like,
like,
what
oh,
is
my
the
bad.
thirst?
I'm like, it doesn't matter if you're wearing a mask if you're this close to me, and you're not wearing a mask properly anyway. Like, there's just basic, like, and half the time I'm like, do you want me to lay down on the floor for you just so you can see what 6 feet looks like? I will happily lay down on the ground and be like, this is how far away you need to be from me. Just back off, please. Like, thank God my liquor store takes it super serious. They have 5, not a joke, I've counted, 5 signs on the door that says if you do not wear a mask, you cannot come inside this establishment.
Yeah, same for us.
They're deadly serious about people being inside that store.
Yeah.
And, like, I've been going pretty consistently now, and, like, they see me with my little, decorative mask, and they're like, oh, yeah, hi, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I come in, I take this shit serious. I've seen a bunch of dudes come in, try to buy, a couple nibs, and they're just like, no, keep it pushing.
Afuera.
And you're not doing it.
Yeah. My liquor store has the floors labeled as, like, up aisles and down aisles to keep people
That's how our
traffic
supermarket is.
from creating our supermarket has them, but, like, nobody fucking listens. Somehow at the liquor store, like, people are more civilized.
They need their booze. They care much more about their booze than they do about their food.
Yeah. And so, like, who I've been really feeling for, man? The freshmen. Because both here, at Westtown and at UConn and Con, we're talking about these years that are meant to be declarative, transformative, like, and I feel worse for them than I do for, like, the graduating seniors who have this, like, big culminating event, because there's a transition to something amazing afterwards, or hopefully, right? For the freshmen, it's like you get that one glitzy, glamorous, like, moments of arrival,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're a sophomore, and sophomore year fucking sucks. And so, like, freshmen all over the place are just, like, robbed of a lot of firsts, that at least within American collegiate culture, like, matter. And I can't imagine, like, for us, we did a multi-phased reopening, and we did a second wave of bringing kids onto campus. I can't imagine being that kid who, like, 2/3 of your class is still online. You don't know anybody. You might not even be in the same dorm room next semester. It's just so unstable and so dysfunctional. And not because we're unstable and dysfunctional, but because the time of COVID is unstable and dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
And to be robbed of, like, the ability to, like, forge robust relationships the way that you do when you live together really is just super shitty.
Yeah, I think I felt the flip side of that. I think I feel for my seniors, if only because a lot of them are struggling to figure out how to make the transition work, because they're like, I might not be able to finish classes. I might not be able to do things. Now I can't plan accordingly for what next year is going to look like because this semester didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, they're not trying to enjoy some of those monumentous collegiate experiences. They're trying to figure out how to leave, and the exit process has been made more difficult.
Sure.
And that, for me, when I hear about it from them, who are like, I need this class to graduate, and I need to do these things, and I'm trying to plan. I'm like, yeah, I remember that. And not having any certainty about what the semesters look like can just make that incredibly aggravating. So, like, I certainly feel for the freshmen, but those students who are trying to get out, and it's now being made difficult,
Mhm.
I'm like, well, that's pretty terrible.
Well, and like applying to graduate school, for example, is nerve wracking
No
on a
matter
good
when you
year.
do it.
I can't imagine, maybe your grades slipped, so your transcript doesn't look as robust as it did, a year had you applied the year prior because you're in this new mode of learning that no one trained you for, that you never anticipated, and you're sending out these apps, hoping to launch a career in whatever field it is, and everything feels uncertain and precarious. And then on the backside, having done graduate admissions, I think to myself, like, how do you adjudicate that? Like, how do you make a good faith evaluation of how promising a graduate student's going to be?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I envy no one. I envy no one. Like as shitty as it has been to be a teacher in the time of COVID, those transition moments feel cataclysmic rather than celebratory. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. And we're all dying for this to be fucking over. We're all dying for it to be over. But like, I've been watching the news, and Darth Cheeto is unwilling to let the transition team, the Biden Harris transition team, play ball because um he's like, well, the results aren't fucking certified. So Biden, rightfully as president elect, and that's not going to change, is trying to like build momentum leading into January to take the reins. Fuck. Excuse me. I'm more tired than I thought I was. As he's rightfully building momentum to take the reins and lead the country into an actual bona fide response to the pandemic, Trump's taking the football and going home. I mean, there are abdications of duty, right? Like, and his entire COVID response has been a cataclysmic abdication of duty. More people have died of COVID in the last 9 months than died in the 4 years of the European theater in the Second World War. More Americans.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I think I heard
And
today
he's
that.
not even willing to pass the buck. That's the part that aggravates me.
Yeah, I think I've heard
right?
today that like 14 or 15,000 people have died since election day. Since voting happened, 14,000
Yep.
people who voted have died.
Right, which became like this running black joke. Like, yeah, maybe some people did, like some dead people did vote because they died from COVID after they cast their ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And what feels so asinine and truly unforgivable to me is that Trump is being given a green light to I mean, he's already washed his hands, right? He hasn't been to like a COVID briefing in something like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But literally, you can turn the reins over to the president elect and have that be seen by everyone other than like his, like rabid sycophants as an act of gracious professionalism, as an act that shows a good faith investment in the tradition of a democratic and peaceful transition of power. But even that he won't let go of. He would literally rather see Americans go to the grave from something perfectly preventable than to let somebody more competent and willing take the reins. This is fucking shitty low ass point in this country.
Mm-hmm. It's.
I'm telling you, Mothman. I keep making the joke, but I would bet my salary that within our lifetimes we will see, like, if not outright like majors and departments, conferences devoted to 2020 studies.
I believe that.
People will
I
devote
wholeheartedly believe it.
tens of thousands of people hours to the study of how the fuck we got to this year and what its rippling like consequences will be into the future. Why did Norton just randomly opened.
So Reese, in that vein of morbidity, if you had to offer the people one tip for how to manage the fatigue, what would you suggest?
I've been making. This is before COVID, but it's made me happier since. I make a monthly playlist. So I'm subscribed to Apple Music and Spotify, and they curate playlists for you, right? And that's an invitation to find new stuff. And so every week, part of like how I feel connected to like the world is that I'm like trolling through my playlist and finding things that I want to add to my curated monthly playlist, and that has been um, a source of like joy and affirmation. And then I've been also on this like crazy weight loss kick, and I think it's not a response to COVID. I mean, it is in some ways, right? Because I put on like unhealthy weight over COVID. But what I've realized is that set of like measurable, predictable control over my own body has given me a sense of measurable, predictable control over other facets of my life, which felt like they were totally slipping away in the middle of the apocalypse. Who thought the apocalypse would be so fucking mundane? Not in the body count. That's
Right, but that
horrifying.
like you wouldn't see fire and brimstone
Nope.
and darkness outside your window.
Nope. This is it. And now we know you can't trust none of these motherfuckers.
No, not a single
That
one.
this is, I used to sit there and be like, wow, the people in these like zombie movies are so fucking dumb. No. Those zombie movies were accurate, neuron for neuron case studies in human psychology. We suck.